The shattered frontalist, the galaxy was burning. From one star system to the next, the enemy swarm known as the Verith left nothing alive. Their ships poured out of the void like endless shadows, devouring fleets, cities, and even whole planets. No one could stop them. Not the proud Krell Dominion, not the fast Zari raiders, not even the mighty Tovar armadas. The Galactic Council had gathered in secret on the fortress world of Uranus. It was supposed to be the safest place in the galaxy, guarded by ancient walls and endless fleets. Yet even there, fear filled the air. The chamber was full of alien leaders, their voices rising in anger and despair. The war is lost, croaked High Chancellor Varese of the Tovar. His gray scales shimmered under the dim light. We cannot hold the lines. Our fleets are shattered. Our soldiers are broken. Murmurs spread. Some leaders wept, some shouted, but none could argue. It was true the galaxy had fought with honor, but honor had failed them. General Lyric of the Krell slammed his claw on the table. We must surrender. Better to save what remains than see everything burn. Fool, barked another voice. The Verith do not take prisoners. There is no surrender. The chamber fell silent. The truth hung heavy. They had run out of hope. For centuries, the Galactic Council had believed they ruled the stars, but now they realized the truth. They were prey, and the hunters were closing in. A desperate silence spread. The leaders lowered their eyes, waiting for someone, anyone, to speak words of salvation, but none came. For the first time in history, the Galactic Council faced extinction. Then the doors opened. The sound echoed through the chamber like thunder. Every eye turned toward the entrance. A group of tall figures walked in. Their movements were sharp, controlled, like predators entering a den. They were humans. At first, there was only confusion. Humanity had no great fleets, no rich empire. For centuries, the Council had mocked them as latecomers to the stars. Yet now they stood here, in the heart of the galaxy's last defense. The human commander stepped forward. His uniform was plain, his face calm, but his eyes were like steel. Behind him stood soldiers in dark armor, silent, watching. Chancellor Varese hissed, "Why are you here, human? You come to see the end of us?" The commander did not smile. His voice was steady, cold. "No, Chancellor. We came because you called for help. But what you want is not what we offer." The council stirred. Confused murmurs filled the air. General Lyrax sneered. "What can your kind offer? You are weak. You have no fleets left. The Verith would crush you as they crushed us." The human's gaze never wavered. "We are not here to fight for you," he said. "We are here to end the war." The words cut through the silence like a blade. The alien leaders shifted uneasily, unsure if they had heard correctly. End the war? How could these small, scattered humans end what the greatest empires could not? The commander's eyes swept across the chamber. "You fight with rules, with honor, with mercy. That is why you lose. The Verith do not care about honor. They consume, they destroy. If you wish to survive, you must let us lead and understand. This, when humans fight, we do not stop until the enemy is ash." The council erupted in outrage. Voices rose, claws slammed, wings fluttered. Some shouted that it was madness. Some whispered that it was the only chance. Chancellor Varese glared. "You speak of fire and death, human, but if you fail, it is the galaxy that will burn." The commander's cold eyes narrowed. "The galaxy is already burning, Chancellor. You called us too late, but we will still fight. And we will win. Not for you, not for your empires, but because humanity does not accept defeat." A heavy silence fell. The chamber was filled with fear and awe. For the first time in months, there was a spark of something new, not hope, but something sharper, more dangerous. It was ruthlessness. And the galaxy realized that the humans had not come to save them. They had come to change the war. The Verith were monsters. But perhaps, just perhaps, the humans were worse. Asterisk the Ruthless. Art in the chamber of the Galactic Council was in chaos. Every alien voice clashed like thunder. Some shouted that the humans were insane. Others whispered that maybe, just maybe, this was the only path left. The human commander stood silent. His soldiers behind him did not move. Their armor glowed faintly under the council lights, black and cold like night itself. They were not diplomats. They were warriors, and everyone in the chamber could feel it. At last, Chancellor Varese slammed his clawed hand on the table. Enough! He barked. If the humans claim they can end the war, let them prove it. But do not think you will rule us. This council holds power, not Earth. The human commander's gaze was calm but sharp. No, he said. You hold no power anymore. Chancellor, you already lost it when your fleets broke. The galaxy belongs to the Verith now, unless you give it to us. A wave of shock swept the chamber. The aliens froze, staring. General Lyrak growled. You dare demand control? You are barely a species in the stars. The human took a slow step forward. His boots echoed on the floor. His voice was low, but it carried like iron. Yes, we demand it, because you have failed. You cling to titles, to pride, while your worlds burn. We will not fight under your command. If you want humanity to lead this war, you must give us everything: your fleets, your soldiers, your resources, and you will follow our orders without question. The council exploded into shouts. Some called the humans tyrants, some called them saviors. The chamber shook with noise. Then the human raised his hand. One gesture. His soldiers instantly lifted their weapons. The rifles hummed with deadly light. The noise stopped. Silence dropped over the chamber like a blade. You asked for help, the commander said, his voice ice cold. This is help. But we are not here to die for you. We are here to kill your enemy. Understand this. Humanity does not fight halfway. If we fight to finish. If you cannot accept that, then we walk out, and your galaxy burns alone. The words echoed through the chamber. Every leader felt the truth in them. Humanity was not offering mercy. Humanity was offering survival, and survival had a price. Chancellor Varese hissed, his voice low. And if we refuse? The human commander's eyes narrowed. His voice was almost a whisper, but it carried more weight than any roar. Then you will die begging, and your names will be forgotten, while ours will be written in fire across the stars. The chamber trembled. No one spoke. The leaders of the galaxy creatures who had ruled for centuries sat, frozen before a single human voice. At last, one voice broke the silence. Elder Serene of the Virile, her feathers trembling. If we give you command, if we give you everything, do you swear victory? The commander did not smile. His eyes were hard. We swear nothing, he said. But we promise this. The Verith will fall, or we will drag them into hell with us. A chill ran through the chamber. It was not a promise of hope. It was a promise of war, ruthless, final, merciless. And in that moment, the galaxy understood. The bargain was not salvation. It was surrender to something just as terrifying as the enemy. The council looked at one, another, broken, defeated, afraid, and then slowly, one by one, they bowed their heads. The galaxy had chosen. The war would no longer belong to them. It now belonged to humanity. And the humans had no intention of losing Asterisk. The first strike the galaxy watched with trembling silence as the humans prepared for war. For the first time in history, the Council's fleets were no longer under alien command. They answered to Earth, and Earth wasted no time. The human flagship, Iron Resolve, hung in orbit like a black blade. It was not the largest ship in the fleet, nor the most advanced, but it carried something the galaxy had never seen before: warriors who did not believe in retreat. From the council chambers to distant colonies, all eyes turned to the coming battle. The humans had promised no mercy. Now the galaxy waited to see if those were just words or a nightmare made real, the Verith swarm had surrounded the planet. Vornis Prime, millions of civilians trapped below, screamed for salvation. The Council had already declared the world lost, but the humans had chosen it as their proving ground. The fleet gathered, alien commanders muttering in disbelief. "They are going to attack head-on," hissed one. "It is suicide." But the humans did not wait. The order was given, and their ships surged forward. The Verith swarm came alive. Thousands of enemy vessels unfolded like black wings across the stars. Their weapons lit the void, burning streaks of fire tearing toward the human line. The galaxy expected the humans to break formation, to scatter like the others always did, but they did not. The human ships stayed in formation, absorbing the first. Wave, shields flared, hulls burned, yet still they advanced. "Madness," whispered General Lyrak. Watching from the Council's command chamber, "They are letting themselves be hit." Then the humans struck back, not with cautious volleys, not with careful aim, but with a wall of fire. Every ship unleashed its weapons at once. Guided missiles, rail cannons, plasma lances, hundreds, thousands, slamming into the Verith swarm. Entire sections of the enemy fleet vanished in burning light. Gasps filled the council chamber. This was not war as they knew it. This was slaughter, but the humans were not done. Their ships didn't retreat after the volley. They charged. Engines roared, black hulls tearing through the swarm. Collisions, boarding actions, close-range fire. It was chaos the Verith had never faced. Alien commanders screamed in disbelief. They are fighting like they do not care if they die. On the ground, Vornis Prime shook with thunder as human drop pods rained down. The first human ground troops stormed out, giants in dark armor, eyes cold, weapons ready. They moved with mechanical precision, cutting down the enemy in brutal waves. The Verith shrieked, trying to swarm them, but the humans did not fall back. They burned everything in their path. Entire streets turned to fire, not caring if their own armor melted, not caring if their lungs choked on smoke. In the council chamber, silence fell. The galaxy had never seen war like this. They realized the humans were not simply soldiers. They were executioners, and then came the moment that froze every watcher's blood. The Verith Queen herself, massive and writhing, rose from the battlefield. Her roar shook the skies. For centuries, no army had dared face one directly. It was always retreat, always surrender. But the humans looked up, lifted their weapons, and ran toward her. The feed went dark and static as the first human missile struck her chest. Asterisk fear and respect, the battlefield of Vornis Prime lay in ruins. The Verith Queen's broken husks smoldered among shattered towers. Black smoke rose into the heavens. The planet was saved, but it no longer looked alive. It looked burned, scarred, and dead. The Council broadcast the images across the galaxy, hoping to inspire hope, but instead, something else spread. Something colder, sharper fear. The Verith were monsters. Yes, but they were expected to be monsters. That was their nature. What no one expected, what no one could understand, was that the humans had been worse. In the after-action report, alien commanders whispered of what they had seen. They spoke of human soldiers who did not retreat even when flames swallowed them. They spoke of soldiers laughing in the face of death. They spoke of entire Verith. Nests burned alive, leaving no survivors, not even eggs. To some, it was victory. To others, it was a warning. Inside the council chamber, Chancellor Variz spoke in a hushed voice. "We asked for salvation. What we brought were wolves." General Lyrak's claws scraped the table. "Not wolves," he muttered. "Something worse. Wolves kill to eat. Humans kill to erase." Reports came from the front. Worlds thought lost were being reclaimed. The humans struck fast, hard, without pause. Every day they won battles the Council once thought impossible. But every day, the number of civilian dead rose as well. The humans left nothing behind. At first, the galaxy cheered. Crowds hailed humanity as saviors. But then the cheering stopped. The survivors began to whisper, "They fight like the Virith. They are not here to save us. They are here to conquer death itself." On the ground, alien soldiers who fought beside humans returned shaken. They told stories of human squads moving through cities like ghosts, cutting down enemies with perfect precision, but never stopping to comfort the wounded, never sparing those who surrendered. One Zyrol captain described it best. His voice shook as he spoke before the council. "When I stood beside them, I felt safer than I ever had. But I also knew, deep in my bones, that if I stood in their way even for a moment, they would kill me too." The chamber was silent. The truth was undeniable. The humans had earned respect, but they had also planted terror, and still their power grew. For on the third week of their command, the humans unveiled something the galaxy had never seen before. From the dark void of space came the Titan-class warships, colossal vessels so massive that their shadows eclipsed moons. Their hulls carried scars from battles the Council had never even known about. And when the ships opened their hangars, out poured wave after wave of black-armored soldiers. The Council leaders stared in awe. For a moment, they felt like children watching predators circle above. "They brought more," whispered Elder Seren, her feathers trembling. "This is not their whole strength. This is only the beginning." And then, as if to prove her words, the human spoke. The commander's voice boomed across every channel. "This is not your war anymore. It is ours. Stay out of our way, or stand with us and learn what war truly means." The galaxy had begged for help. They had received something far greater and far more dangerous. Not salvation, not mercy, but humanity. And the galaxy was beginning to wonder, had they just replaced one monster with another? The turning tide the galaxy had thought it impossible. For years the Virith swarm had only advanced, devouring everything. But now, for the first time in living memory, the swarm was being pushed back. The humans did not defend. They attacked. Every battle was a storm of fire and steel. Worlds once declared lost were retaken in days, not years. Entire hives of Virith were burned to nothing, not even ashes left behind. But this was no clean victory. Where humans fought, nothing survived: enemy, city, forest, or sky. The galaxy celebrated their survival, but each victory felt heavy, like blood dripping slowly into water. On the 4th month of the human campaign, the impossible happened. A captured Virith queen was brought before the council, her massive body restrained in chains of burning plasma. Her black eyes glared at the alien leaders as she hissed words in a voice like broken glass. "You fear us," she rasped, "but it is not us you should fear. It is them, the humans. They do not fight to live. They fight to destroy. You are nothing to them, nothing but witnesses to their hunger." The chamber trembled. The council stared at the queen, broken and beaten, and still speaking truth they did not want to hear. But even as her words spread fear, the war turned harder. The humans launched deep raids into Virith territory, striking planets no one dared approach before. They called it Operation Silence, a campaign not of liberation, but of extermination. Entire Virith breeding worlds were reduced to glass. Human fleets swept through with mechanical precision. Their orders simple: leave no survivors. Alien soldiers who fought beside them came back changed. Some were proud, others shaken, many disturbed. They whispered that the humans never hesitated, never questioned, never mourned. They burned the city with their own troops inside. One commander confessed, trembling before the council, they did it to kill a swarm. They did it without pause. I saw them smile as the fire spread. And yet, despite the fear, despite the horror, the results could not be denied. The Virith were losing every week. A new report arrived. Another swarm destroyed. Another system reclaimed. Another world burning in human fire. Crowds across the galaxy cheered. Some called the humans saviors. some called them demons, but all agreed on one truth. The tide of war had turned, and still the humans pushed forward. Their fleets moved like a storm, their soldiers like shadows, their commanders like gods of death. But then came the message that shook the galaxy more than any victory. It came from the battlefield, carried by broken survivors. The Virith had begun to flee not from the Council, not from the galaxy's armies, but from humanity itself. The swarm that had once swallowed stars now retreated, and every alien who heard this felt the same fear settle in their hearts. If the monsters of the void ran from humans, what did that make humanity? Asterisk the last gamble. The war had changed. The swarm that once consumed the galaxy was now retreating, but victory did not bring peace, only dread. For the humans had not stopped. They hunted the Virith into the dark corners of space. And now their eyes turned to the final target, the fortress world of Karen Hive, the Virith's last stronghold, a living planet of black stone and flesh, a world so vast it could swallow entire fleets. For centuries, no army had dared to even approach it. But the humans were not like other armies. In the council chamber, voices trembled. "We must negotiate," Elder Saren pleaded, her feathers quivering. "If we corner them, they may destroy us all." But the human commander shook his head, his face carved in stone. "There will be no negotiation," he said. "No survivors, no mercy. We finish this now." Gasps filled the chamber. Chancellor Varese rose, fury in his scaled eyes. "You would burn a world? There are civilians, captives." The human's gaze cut through him like a blade. "War doesn't end with survivors," he said coldly. "It ends with silence." The council fell silent, and in that silence, they understood this was no longer their war. It belonged to humanity, and humanity demanded an ending written in fire. The fleets gathered. From every corner of the galaxy came ships, millions strong, yet all under human command. The Titan-class warships took point, their shadows blotting out suns, and at their heart, the human flagship Iron Resolve prepared for the greatest assault in galactic history. Alien soldiers whispered in fear as they stood beside human troops. The humans prayed before battle, not for life, not for survival, but for victory at any cost. The assault began. The void erupted in fire as human warships cut into the Virith defenses. Enemy swarms poured forth in endless waves. But this time, it was different. The humans did not just fight. They consumed them. Every volley tore apart dozens of ships. Every charge burned another hive to ash on the ground. The drop pods slammed into the planet's surface. The soil of Charon Hive bled black ichor as the humans stormed its twisted landscapes. Their soldiers cut through the alien defenders with ruthless precision, leaving no one alive, even the Council's commanders. Hardened by centuries of war, turned away from the live feeds, unable to watch the slaughter. But the humans did not turn away. They pressed forward into the heart of the hive, into the lair of the Virith overmind itself. Then came the moment that froze the galaxy's blood. The overmind spoke, its voice booming across every channel. "You are not saviors," it hissed. "You are the end. Your fire will consume not only us, but all." The human commander lifted his weapon, eyes cold. "That is the point," he answered. And the feed cut to black as the humans detonated the first wave of planet-killer warheads. The fortress world of Karen shook. The galaxy held its breath. For in that single moment, everyone realized something terrible. If this was victory, it would also be a warning. The humans would not just end the war, they would change the galaxy forever. Asterisk. The aftermath of Ruthless Karen Hive was gone. Not defeated, not broken, erased. The human fleet had unleashed fire so vast it cracked the world apart. Where once the Virith's fortress world stood, there was now only drifting rubble and glowing ash. The galaxy erupted in celebration. Across 1,000 worlds, crowds cheered, bells rang, and soldiers wept with relief. The war was over. The nightmare ended. The Virith, the monsters who had devoured stars, were dead. But beneath the celebration lurked something else, a quiet unease, a cold whisper. Because the galaxy had not only seen the Virith destroyed, they had seen how the humans destroyed them. Council leaders reviewed the battle recordings in silence. The images played, human fleets cutting through swarms like reapers. Human soldiers burning entire hives without hesitation. The Overmind's final words swallowed by nuclear fire. Some council members turned away in horror. Others stared with grim acceptance. Elder Sarin spoke first, her voice trembling. We asked for salvation. What we brought was something worse. We brought them. General Lyrak, scarred from the war, shook his head slowly. Worse? He growled. No. We brought the only thing that could win, and now we will live with it. The council chamber grew cold, because the truth was clear. The galaxy had been saved not by mercy, but by ruthlessness, and the humans had shown no sign they were finished. Reports trickled in. Entire sectors now fell under human protection. Alien fleets once loyal to the council now followed human command. Worlds freed from the Virith were rebuilt, not by their own people, but under Earth's authority. Whispers spread like wildfire. Did we trade one enemy for another? Will they ever give this power back? Or was this their plan from the beginning? The galaxy began to tremble with a new fear. The Virith had been monsters of hunger. But humans were monsters of choice. They did not consume because they had to. They consumed because they refused to lose. On the bridge of the Iron Resolve, the human commander stood before his officers. The stars of newly conquered space glittered. On the viewport, a younger officer hesitated, then spoke softly. Sir, the war is over. What do we do now? The commander's eyes narrowed, his voice calm, iron, final. The war is never over, he said. There will always be another threat, another enemy, another lesson to teach this galaxy, and we will be ready. He turned toward the stars. And in that moment, the galaxy seemed smaller, quieter, more fragile. Because they all understood, the war was won, yes, but the true reckoning had only begun. The Virith were gone, and now the galaxy would live under the shadow of something far more dangerous. Humanity, asterisk.